Fitz, you ready?
Yep.
All right. And do it.
Got a question today. At Jordan Destefano 1. Does deadlift have any correlation to throwing harder?
So, preface this, Jordan's been one of our guys for a long time. Love Jordan to death. Jordan, we love you.
Yep.
Thanks for the question. Go ahead. What do you got, Garrett?
Yes and no.
Good. Good answer. That's it. That's the end of the episode, right?
Done.
Yeah, it can be. If a guy comes in, can't produce force at all, that's going to be a big factor when he goes on the mound, because if you can't do it over there, he's definitely not going to be able to do it on a mound where he's trying to think, okay, I got to throw a strike, I got to throw it here. There's no way that's happening. So if we get a deadlift up, we're going to be able to produce more force, then hopefully be able to transfer that. That's where it goes into programming, where early in the off season or early in a training age, that absolute strength aspect of things, we're putting as much weight on the bar, producing as much force as possible in a long period of time, which is very important to note, is crucial. That's why getting guys younger, guys freshmen, sophomore in high school, getting those guys to really build that absolute strength on the front end, because that's what's going to take the longest amount of time, is to build that strength up. And then closer to end season or farther into junior, seniors of high school, or being able to perform, we're really trying to showcase ourselves. That's where it's going to take more moving faster, with higher velocities, trying to move that weight as fast as possible. So producing a lot of force in a short amount of time. But it always leads back to what you're doing on a skill aspect side, because we know the power lifters that can produce a lot of force, but they can't produce it in a short amount of time, and they're definitely not skillful enough to throw it on the mound. So it's always relatable, like yes and no. That's why that answer is always, everyone says it depends. Is it great to be super strong? Yes, because that's one checkbox off the things that we look for to be able to throw hard. Is it necessary? Not really, but it's not always cut and dry like that.
So I think one of the things we talked about a lot is how there's this expectation, if I just add this thing to my training, that it's going to make me better, right? It's going to make me like reach the level that I want to reach. And it's like, if I could just squat 600 pounds. My whole focus this off season is going to be the deadlift. And I saw a video of Bryce Harper deadlifting 500 pounds. And it's like, now I need to do that. Or I need to pull down with a 3-ounce ball 110 because I saw somebody do that online. And we forget, like, there's context around load. There's context around training over time and progressing, regressing load over time, right? And there's context around, like, who you are as a person and the needs that you have. Because at the end of the day, my needs, your needs, Garrett's needs are all different. And how we would actually train to become a professional baseball player again, or, in certain spaces, right? But it's looking at this from a holistic point of view. And like you talk about younger guys, which I love, because it's like, a lot of younger guys come in and their parents or their coaches will have seen these things online as like this marketing space, and they go, my kid needs to do those plyo care throws, or my kid shouldn't do those plyo care throws, or my kid needs to do whatever, more bands or more what, and they isolate it as my kid needs this, or as a player that walks in, they say, I just need mechanics, like I just need to work with you guys on mechanics, or I just need to do more deadlifts. I need to just, put more weight on the bar and get really, it's like, great. Well, getting big in the off season is wonderful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that's good, but it's not about you getting shredded. Like, it's not necessarily about that. Like, the idea of getting down to 6% body fat is not going to be what actually correlates and drives ball velocity on the mound. Like, it's bigger than that. Like, we need these pieces to come together. Like, you do an amazing job of programming, like, and building the absolute strength with these guys, and knowing when to tell a guy, like, hey, we just need to stay focused on absolute strength. Like, we have this cycle, which we want to move, and we want to move weight fast. Like, we want to get through this cycle in time, but you're physically not ready for it yet, or you're too young for it right now, or you're coming off an injury, and we need to focus again on this thing. There's so many boxes that we can put you in, and we can say, hey, we have this program set in place. But it comes back to assessment. It comes back to having that conversation, a real conversation about what are your goals and how do we get there. And I think that's what is interesting. So I hear, like, and Jordan's obviously asking the question because Jordan is a very strong and unique, freaky athlete, and Jordan's been programmed very well for a long time. But we do hear that question a lot. Like, what if I just do this?
Yep.
And it's not bad to have the conversation, but we got to have the peripheral to know, like, I've got to do the rest of this stuff as well and fill up these buckets. If I have 2 empty buckets and I have 3 half-filled buckets, I'm just trying to fill these 3 half-filled buckets up to the brim. Well, I'm neglecting these 2 empty buckets. Like, it's not necessarily going to mean that I'm getting better. Like, I want to fill all of these equally, and be really good.
I think it's really important to look at like the lowest hanging fruit. Like, if a guy is super strong but he can't move, or there's something wrong that we see in the assessment or biomechanical reports, that's like, well, if we do this, we're probably going to see more increases quicker than if we're just putting more weight on the bar. Because it's like, hey, most of the time people like doing what they're really good at. So if you're really strong, you're probably going to like putting a lot of weight on the bar and moving it really fast.
Great point.
But if you're in this, like, hey, you might just need to work on the awareness of how to actually excellently rotate and then apply that skill while throwing, and that's probably going to do what we need to do. Whereas, like, that might take 2 weeks instead of just putting weight on the bar and hoping, hey, I'm just going to produce even more force to compensate for that.
Yeah.
And it's really, that's where the taking both sides into it and really focusing on, hey, the assessment, biomechanical report, strength, and all these things, and just picking the lowest hanging fruit. Like, hey, you're a strength guy, let's see if we can move a little bit better and see where that goes. And then we can always work back and communicate between us and between the athlete and really focus on what we actually need to focus on.
Perfect. Absolutely.
A lot of different variables. You got any place where I can kind of answer some of those variables?
Yeah, sure. Connect Lead. There you go. Connect is on KineticProBaseball.com. You can check out our Connect course there. It's free, so you can go in just with an email address and sign in, check out everything from workload management to VBT to mechanics, other modules opening soon. We have our KP bands on there as well now. Pretty excited about all of that coming together. Should have a ball flight module up here in the near future as well. So, Fitz, what do you got to close it out?
You guys want to give us any questions? Please leave a comment down below, smash a like on this post, and keep an eye out for our question box going up on the stories.
Perfect. That's it.